I'm going to read a book called Making Storybook Friends. The story I'm going to read today is called Bran and Puppy. Once there was a big dog. She had big brown eyes and a pretty brown coat. Her name was Bran. Bran had a little puppy. He looked just like Bran. He also had big brown eyes and a brown coat. And he had a little tail that was always wagging. Bran and Puppy lived on a farm. Bran was an old dog. She had lived on the farm a long time. She was very wise. Puppy was not so old and not so wise. But Puppy wanted to know all about things, so he was always going here and there, looking at this and that. Sometimes he would run away and Bran would think he was lost, but she would always find him. One morning, he was playing near a big hole in the ground. There was water in the hole. Puppy wanted to find out about the hole, so he went to it and looked into the water. There in the water, he saw another little dog. It was really not another dog at all. Instead, it was just Puppy himself, but he thought it was another dog. So he barked and barked. When Puppy barked, the little dog in the water barked too. When Puppy was still, the dog in the water was still. When Puppy made a funny face, the dog in the water made a funny face. The dog in the water did just what Puppy did. Bow wow wow wow, bow wow wow wow, barked Puppy again and again. Then he jumped at the dog he thought he saw. Now Puppy himself was in the water. When Puppy jumped, he jumped right into the water. Poor Puppy! He could not get out of the big hole. He could not get out of the cold water. He was wet and cold. He was frightened, too. So he cried and cried. Bran was at the house, but she could hear her little puppy crying. So she ran to find him. She came to the big hole and looked down into it. There in the water, she saw her poor little puppy. Frightened. He was crying as if to say, I am cold and wet. Please help me out. Please help me out. Bran tried and tried, but Puppy was too far away. Then she looked around for help. She saw no one but Horse. The old black horse could not help her. I must get Puppy out of the cold water, thought Bran. So she jumped into the hole. She took the puppy up out of the water. She had him in her mouth. Now Bran needed someone to help her. She could not get out of the hole. She could not bark, for she had the puppy in her mouth. So she did not bark. She just made a funny noise instead. The man who lived on the farm was raking leaves nearby. He heard the funny noise. What is that sound I hear? Thought he. Bran made the funny noise again and again. The man heard it. I shall find out what that is, said he to himself. He put down his rake. Then he went to the hole and looked down into it. There he saw Bran. She was standing in the cold water with Puppy in her mouth. The man helped the dogs out of the hole. I think you are a good dog and a wise dog, he said to Bran. Bran and Puppy just wagged their tails and looked at the man. That was always their way of saying thank you. Then Bran and Puppy shook the water from their coats. Soon the two dogs were warm and dry again. That's the end of that story. If you'd like to hear another story, click on the next video. I love you, Travis and Joshua. Bye.